Hey, all right. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something pretty serious, and it's not something I'm really proud of, but I think that it's something that a lot of people experience, and so I wanted to talk about my experience with it. And that is stress, depression, and anxiety. So, I think everybody deals with stress. Everyone experiences it at some point in their life, and it's a big part of life these days because of the environment that we live in and what is expected from us, what we see on TV, and we have this idea in our head of what we're supposed to be like, what our bodies are supposed to be like, what our job is supposed to be like, what success is supposed to look like. And people work so hard for that sometimes they lose themselves along the way. And other people are working so hard and trying so hard to be what they think they're supposed to be because of what social media or even media itself and the movies say, what people are supposed to be like. And you have to remember that those are the movies and it's not real life, and you have to do what makes you happy. So some people lose themselves in that, and some people are just super fake. So they're so busy trying to be what they see on TV or what they read about, what they see in magazines, that they don't even know who they are. And I've been pretty in touch with myself for most of my life. I do find that there have been times, especially in high school, when you want to be cool and you want to fit in, that maybe I started to take on characteristics of my friends, just trying to fit in, basically. So as life goes on, you learn a little bit more about yourself and the things that are really important. I've always been a little bit different, and I don't think it's a bad thing at all. A lot of times I just laugh about it, especially now, because it just is who I am. And I've always been different in my family. I've been different in my friends. There aren't a lot of people out there like me. So I actually enjoy being different. But there are those things that I have seen on TV or, what people talk about, what success is and those sorts of things. And I've experienced a lot of stress from that, trying to live up to what success is supposed to be. And really you have to decide what success means to yourself, because it's whatever your idea of it is. And you just want to take some time to really reflect on that and see what really is success to you. So take some time and think about that. And you also have to think about what happiness is to you. So my first time experiencing depression, I was probably around 19 or 20. And it was a time in my life, I had been working out, but my diet was off, and your diet can really affect how you're feeling. I had always been larger. So that played a role in my self-confidence. Guys didn't really talk to me. My mom says it's because I'm unapproachable. I don't know, but I felt like I was never going to find anyone. And, that's actually a young age to even be thinking about that. But that's, what society says you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, get married and have children and do all of this. And so that's where my focus was on being loved and finding that happy ending. So looking back, it wasn't really a realistic time, but hey, to each their own. And to me, that's what happiness was about. And to an extent, it still is. Love is very important in my life, but I have, as I've gotten older, a new appreciation for love and a new idea of what it is. It's not just a romantic relationship. It's my relationships with my friends and my family members. And I have some amazing people in my life. I have been very blessed, and I may not have a ton of friends, but I really focus on quality over quantity, and I have always done that, and I guess that's kind of where I stuck out in high school, because I wasn't just gonna, be friends. I'll be nice to everyone, but to call someone my true friend, they really have to be a true friend. So anyways, when I first experienced the depression, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to handle it, and I was embarrassed, and I was really lost, but I found myself sad all the time, and just on my lunch break at work, going in my car and just crying, and I felt all alone in the world. And what's really sad is a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people experience it, and they're ashamed to tell anyone or share their story, or they're afraid that people will think that they're just doing it for attention. So they do it by themselves, and that's part of it. Is whenever I would try to explain it to somebody, I felt like they thought that I was just doing it for attention. So it really made me internalize it even more. And in my mind, society wanted me to be happy, and so I couldn't show that I was sad. And I couldn't even explain why I was sad on the inside. So it was really tough. And then one day, it was Thanksgiving, and we always had a ton of people over, and I had to do the dishes of all things, and I just like had a breakdown over it. Like, I just didn't want to do it, and the smallest thing, like, I honestly was like really, really upset about it. Like, I was almost like, life isn't worth living anymore over the dishes, people, over the dishes. I don't know what was going on. So when I went back to work, my boss asked me how was my time off, and I just burst out in tears. And I worked for an amazing chiropractor at the time in Tucson, and his name is Dr. Wayne Rudnick at Tucson Chiropractic Center. So shout out to him. You guys should go check him out if you live in that area. And I went to him and I told him what was going on, and bless his heart, he got me in contact with someone, and he helped me to get through that. I changed my diet. I took a lot of herbal supplements, probiotics. I was just a mess on the inside from eating. So I started getting all of that under control, and a huge part of it was the foods that I was eating, and it literally changed my life. And yeah, it was strict, but it was worth it. I mean, at that point, when you start to have thoughts about, like, I don't even want to live anymore, then it gets real, and it becomes very important. So I made those changes, and I was feeling really good. I became a lot more confident in who I was. I really started to get to know myself as a person. I was working through a lot of things. So for like a week of the time, I had like 3 jobs at once. So I was really busy. I didn't have time for a lot, but I was healthy. So I was happy in that. Here comes a little papa. And dogs are wonderful for therapy as well. So it wasn't until like several years later that I kind of went through a depression again. And again, a lot of it was internalizing it. I was in a relationship where I was criticized if I felt down. I was accused of being negative all the time. So I couldn't really share those things. I couldn't express how I was truly feeling because I was afraid of being criticized. So it was really difficult for me, and I just kept internalizing things. And then one day, I saw like a Groupon for something, and I went and I saw this therapist type person, and it was really interesting. Throughout the sessions, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I had like hidden from myself. I had just like kept tucking away. And when you can't express yourself, like you put stuff in the back of your mind and you just try to forget about it, but your body doesn't forget about it. And you hold on to that. And a lot of times that can cause you to hold on to weight. It can also cause you physical illness and things that you don't even know why you're having. So it was very eye-opening. Again, I made changes in my life that were really difficult and changes I thought that I could never make. I wasn't confident that I could do things by myself. I wasn't confident that I could end the relationship. I mean, I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but you have to love yourself and you have to do what's right for yourself. And I was so worried. What is everyone going to think? What is his family going to think? What is my family going to think? What are my coworkers going to think? What are my neighbors going to think? Like, parts of it were super embarrassing. I felt like I was a failure at my relationship. And my friend Christy was so amazing, and I had so many friends that helped me get through it. And I'm really blessed to have those people in my life, because I couldn't have made it through it without them. And it's really important to have people who support you and that you can share those things with. Those are your true friends. Those are your true family members. And in that time, I also started going to church, and my life was just changing, and it was changing for the good. And I really started to have that new appreciation for love. So it was a very interesting time. And then, I went through a healing internally. And sometimes when you're going through that, it's not something that you can do by yourself. I mean, I tried to take like St. John's wort and some herbal remedies. Like there was something called rescue remedy. I tried to like self-treat, but through that I had gone through so much stress that my body started to not be able to produce the right amount of serotonin. So finally I went to a doctor and I was prescribed an antidepressant, and that helped. Luckily, it was a very low dose. I didn't need a lot. I needed something to help me. Shh. Sorry, he's getting really upset. Luckily, it was something that I needed a low dose of, and I was able to work through that, and it was really good. Again, at that time, I started changing my eating habits, and just started making life changes. I started working out again. I decided to do what I wanted to do with my life and started to make choices. And it wasn't that mindset of like, oh, I can't do it. Instead, it was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make it happen. And I'll work through it. I'll figure out the details later. But this is what I got to do, and I'm going to do it. And so that's what I did. I had to work 2 jobs. Looking back, sometimes I don't even know how I survived, but I did. And then I went to school, and that was really tough. But again, I survived. I don't have a regret about it. I'm so happy that I finally went. I loved all that I learned about being an esthetician. I love practicing aesthetics, and it's something that really brought another side of joy to my life, as well as aesthetics.